My name is Lynn Briggs. I'm an English professor, and I was the first piloter of the first sequence of FYE in fall of 2014. We didn't have a theme as much as we had a book that connected the courses to each other. So the book that we chose was called Flight Behavior, and it was by Barbara Kingsolver. It was a very useful book in that it offered me the opportunity to talk about elements of rhetoric. It allowed Robin to talk about environmental issues, and it allowed Tom to talk about, well, Marxism, frankly.
My name is Christian Magori. I'm an assistant professor in biology, and I have been one of the instructors in one of the FYE sequences this year. Our sequence was centered around the idea of spread, that everything spreads across the disciplines, and we sat down with Chris Kirby and Julia Smith, the other two instructors, and we decided to use the book Guns, Germs and Steel by Jared Diamond as our center book.
I'm Florian Preissig. I taught a first-year experience with Chad Pritchard from geology and with Michael Conlin from history. Our series was had to do with underground journeys and also the exploration of the human psyche. And the common book that we used was Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne.
Jackie Coombs, I'm in the math department, faculty in the math department. Our sequence was Truth, Lies, and Uncertainty. So the book that we used was by Jordan Ellenberg, and it's called How Not to Be Wrong.
Hello, my name is Martin Meraz Garcia. I'm an associate professor of Chicano Studies at Eastern Washington University. I've been here for about 9 years now. So what's my characterization of the first year experience? I think it's one of the most amazing things that has happened here at Eastern. I'm very excited. I'm teaching the third sequence. So I was fortunate to be asked by Tony Flynn and Jackie Coombs to be part of this project.
That was one of the best things about the course, was how quickly they collaborated with each other, developed a community that really stuck. I see them together even now. That was probably one of the best things. I felt like we were more than the sum of our parts throughout most of that course.
I think the bonding that needs to take place between faculty and students is critical, and the bonding that also needs to take place among them, so that they themselves can be sort of peer pressure in terms of striving for their best. I think that happens in those kinds of informal interactions. Again, in the past I've never been able to do that, especially when I teach the big one-on-one courses where I've had over 60 students, so that is impossible.
I think one of the more rewarding aspects too was really building those relationships with students, so they looked to me to answer a lot of questions, and they were very comfortable asking first-year student questions in the class because everybody had the same confusions. A great part of teaching the FYE is maintaining the relationships with students past the first quarter. So I worked hard to build those relationships among students in the first quarter, but also, and to build a real sense of community in the classroom, but also between us, so that we did things in the, outside of class. We did a couple of co-curricular activities in the first quarter and a couple in the second quarter, and we're actually going to have a barbecue next week. And they really look forward to those. They're very excited about those.
I think the most exciting thing about this class was to work with other people. I worked with my partners for the series. I shared a lot with them, and I think we've become friends, and we're going to remain friends for many years, and it's very good.
I get to learn from them. I think in conversations about planning the course, where we met several times during the summer. I learn a lot from them, but I think, I hope, they learn also a lot from young faculty.
To make your syllabus very flexible, very adaptable. Also, I recommend to find a way to connect with the students right away on week 1 and week 2 with activities that may not be tightly connected with your academic goals, but we need activities that help us connect with the students, get to know them better.
I mean, this is a cohort of 25 students who already know each other from the fall quarter when I got them in the winter quarter, and it was really important that how I was introduced to them and what connection I developed with them. So I intentionally invited Chris Kirby to the first class to introduce the students to me, and I tried to introduce myself as much as on a personal level as possible. And Julia Smith was also coming to as many activities and labs as she could, so that she develops a connection with them by the time she gets them in the spring quarter. Maybe another advice is to just use as many of the resources available on campus as possible, like bringing in these outside sources. Like I had several invited guest speakers.
Knowing the expectations that each faculty has of their students, so that when they make that transition into the next sequence, that they know sort of what to expect. I think that would be, one of the most critical aspects or advice that I would have for faculty. And, it's okay to challenge students. We should be challenging students. All of us should be challenging students.
Be clearer about the expectations and give lots of feedback to help them rise to those expectations. I think that's a key component of first year experience courses. Even though the focus is still on the content, we do that within content and help them. It is a bit of work. It is challenging, but it's more rewarding than challenging. And the challenges come from really thinking through how you're going to teach something to all freshmen.